Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast reviews edition. I am one of your hosts, John Clemente, alongside with me, as per usual, is my bestest best friend in the entire world, Chubax. How are you doing, Chubax?
Exhausted. Happy to be
Yeah, we're
here though.
both exhausted.
Very happy to be here.
We are
Just
both
relax and
exhausted from the week.
talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Regardless, if this is the first time watching one of our shows, welcome. Thank you very much for the view. As per usual, we would love for you to grab your friends and your families extra phones, laptops, desktops, launch the browser youtube.com/plus 63HP. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us grow this community of like minded individuals that like content that they share with their friends and family. You can also follow us and interact with us on our socials. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with the handle at plus63HP. And if you don't want to watch me and Trabax's faces, you can also listen to us in the background while you're working or doing your chores. Just search plus63HP in the podcasting app of your choice. Our particular favorites are Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon. And if you haven't noticed it yet, the Plus 63 HP Nexus of podcasts, Nexus of shows, has a couple of different flavors. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we release one show of the week or one movie of the week, sometimes two shows of the week, sometimes two movies of the week, where we
Mm-hmm.
review, deep dive, and rate how much we like that particular show and movie. So you will know if you should watch it too. And on Wednesdays, um, we have recorded our very first D&D campaign. So we are almost 40. We've never played D&D before, but the past year, almost every week, we've been playing D&D. We have been having such a great time. We are enjoying learning. We are like kids again. So if you want to join in our adventure, please watch us on Wednesdays for D&D campaign number 1. On Thursdays, we curate a nice selection of clips, short videos, featurettes, and mostly trailers, and we react to them and see how hyped we are for that upcoming content. So if you want to see what's coming down the pipe, and you want to see which shows, movies, video games, books, you should be looking forward to join us on our Thursday show. On Friday, Chubax and our other brother RJ could not get enough of D&D, so they spun off their own little campaign where they are the bad guys. So they record those sessions as well. Those episodes drop every Friday. So if you, as you can see, Mondays through Fridays, you'll have new content that you can enjoy with us. You can interact with us, and you can engage with us, and hopefully you get entertained and you guys get informed a little bit about the cool content uh, all over the place. All right, that's it. Housekeeping done. And as discussed, this week we have a very critically acclaimed show, that movie that came out. Nope, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
directed by and written by Jordan Peele, his third theatrical release after his groundbreaking Get Out and his semi okay follow up Us. Now we have semi sci-fi, semi alien thriller. No. So before we go into spoiler territory, provide our viewers and listeners with a synopsis. We always want to start our discussion with initial reactions about the film on spoilery versions, so that if you have not seen the movie yet, maybe we might encourage you to watch it, pause the podcast, and then, or pause the podcast, go watch it, come back and discuss it with us. So with that, Chubax, initial reactions for Nope.
I liked it. It drew me in, but just uh, little needed a little more ending for me. But
Mhm.
yeah, I did. Even my wife was drawn in a little bit. Like the cast was great. Lots of the scenes were great. It really did remind me of Signs.
Mhm.
Lots of that lot of that, and just I do have some questions. I mean, when I watch this, I'm at the most analytical person, so I have some questions for you to maybe clarify me on stuff. But yeah, the it was the ending that kind of like I needed more.
Mm. Yeah, I really, really like this movie. I think, of course, the problem with having such a stellar debut film, Get Out, everything it's going to be hard to top Get Out. So, um,
Yeah, but he hasn't shot any blanks yet. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's
ooh,
debate in the last two, but
yeah,
as you said, it's still both they're both still
100%.
critically acclaimed. So I'm
Yeah,
happy with him.
yeah, Us was not great. It was good. It wasn't great. This one is a really, really, really good movie. Because like you said, it really draws you in. I think the casting was stellar. Really good acting because the lead or the person that has the most screen time here is Daniel Kaluuya, and a lot of his characters is very reserved, not a
Yeah, he
lot of
kind of
talking,
annoyed me at the start, but then
right?
you see what he is, and then
Right?
when
You feel,
his field comes into play, then you're like, oh, he's badass too.
yeah, yeah. So he really he's more of a feeler rather than a talker, and then
Mm.
juxtaposed with Kiki Palmer, which actually I haven't seen her in a lot of different shows and movies. So this was like first big introduction to her. Very dynamic and engaging and fun. Uh, and of course, like you have Steven Yeun,
Mm.
pretty cool. Like very, I always like this type of diversification of cast because we don't usually see
Yeah,
a ranch owner, kind or a ranch,
Asian.
yeah, an Asian person. So that was cool. And again, everybody that was in the movie played their role extremely well. Like
Angel.
Brandon Perea, the Fry's electronics
Yeah.
technician, right? He was, you know, there enough. Though nobody was annoying, nobody was overacting. Everybody was had a role that moved the story along. The story again was engaging, suspenseful, but not too heady, not too complicated. There's not a lot of is this real? Is it not real? Right? We don't because usually what happens in movies like this is the entire movie is this real? Is this not real?
Agreed.
And then in the end, there's like either and they still don't answer it. Right? So
I like that
this one I
they
like.
show it. They're
Yeah,
not too
it's
coy.
very
Like,
clear. Yeah, the resolution of this movie or the MacGuffin of this movie is very clear. I particularly like the juxtaposition of like the weird flashbacks and what it meant to the movie because I like over analyzing the layers of a movie. And
mm,
then the Ricky Park child actor issues um with the monkey and
mm,
his old TV show juxtaposed with what is happening right now. Eh, when I was talking to the person that I saw this movie with in the theater, it was a little bit on the nose, but if you don't think about it, it's just
I
like
didn't
a
think about. So you have to
nice,
explain it to me.
yeah. So yeah, the main theme was exactly that. What they were doing to an animal essentially. So but yeah, so that's the good thing about it is just like it's well written, well acted, well shot. Like,
Mm,
they
that's a
didn't
good
stretch
good
the
shot.
CGI. The 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 environment looks super cool. Like it's not a place that we spend a lot of time in, or at least I would spend a lot of time in. So we get introduced on how these types of farms look like and what are the neighboring farms and what do they do for a living for extra cash, because again, of course, like these farms are dying by the second too. So yeah, it was, and it has layers. It has some resolution at the end. So it's like, or a resolution at the end that, it could be better, could be worse, but I really like it. So this is a movie that maybe if you're a film nerd, film buff, you go to the theater for. But and it's a solid date night movie if it's on streaming. If you rent it like for $4, $5, totally worth it. Maybe if you buy it for $25, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But if this comes down to streaming, this is definitely one of those movies that, okay, if it's on HBO Max,
Yes, I
schedule a
agree.
date night or schedule a date night with your friends because it's a good discussion movie as well. So with that, We're just gonna go through a few stats about Nope. Again, written and directed by Jordan Peele. Stars Daniel Kaluuya as Otis OJ Haywood
Junior.
Jr. We got Kiki Palmer as his sister. Stephen Yoon as Ricky Jupe Park. He's a former child actor now owning a theme park called Jupiter's Claim. Brandon Perea is Angel Torres. He is a tech salesperson at Fry's Electronics, which is amazing because I didn't realize that there's still a few Fry's
I
out
know.
there. And Michael Wincott, he is Antler Holst. He is a cinematographer that they bumped into in one of Kiki Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya's gigs in Hollywood. So those are the actors. Like even that's a murderer's role. Like Michael Wincott,
Definitely.
you don't hear the name a lot, but you've seen him play like very, very um scary bad
Dudes.
guys, right? Yeah, so he's definitely one of the more solid character actors there. And then of course Kiki Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, which is uh Jordan Peele's main muse, I guess. Every movie he's been there, so he's pretty dope. I really really enjoy this movie. The movie is a solid 130 minutes, so just a little over 2 hours, which I think was perfect. Maybe we could shave 10, 15 more minutes, whatever, but it's a solid movie. It's not too long. It's not gonna like take
I
up
would
your
have
entire
added
day.
maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. And uh I love how, we are looking at budgets all the time because this movie was only made for $68 million, considering the names of the cast. So I'm assuming a huge chunk of that was for Daniel
Cash.
Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, or Stephen Yeun, right? So for $68 million, but the Hollywood rule of thumb of three times their budget is close. They as of today they have made $161.7 million in the box office. So, it's not like a blockbuster, but it almost tripled its budget. So I think I would consider that a success. There has been some good and then some tepid reviews online, but it's not as bad as Us or as divisive as Us, but definitely not as good as Nope. So quickly, the plot. So if you haven't seen the movie, you're enthused by our description and you want to watch it and discuss it with us, pause now and then come back. All right, because we're doing the spoiler and themes. So we start off at a place called Agua Dulce, which is like a farm that trains and handles horses. And a lot of these horses are used for film and TV in Hollywood. So that in and of itself, if you really think about it, that is in a nutshell the entire theme of the movie is trying to train, contain, and use wild creatures for spectacle and entertainment, right? So this is what they do. This is what happens with Ricky Jupe Park, with the monkey when he was a kid, and then ultimately with the this alien entity that they are dealing with. Um, Unexplicably, Otis Sr. dies with a quarter falling from the sky, piercing his brain, traumatizing the son, OJ, because you start off with the movie with OJ driving his dad to the hospital and back. So I love that scene. How, if
That
you
was
really think
awesome.
about it, like if you are in a far, far, far off place and something happens, you're gonna have to have this, you know, extremely injured, possibly dead, loved one of yours in a ride all the way into town. And if they die, you have to ride back all the way by yourself, right? So
Mm.
that was a good microcosm. Months later, there was a commercial that's being done where the horses of OJ's farm, or a horse of OJ's farm, is being used. we already see here the other theme where a lot of people are trying to kind of do CGI instead because it's a lot easier to tame than an actual real horse.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where we kind of get introduced with Kiki Palmer. She's kind of like the face of the company. She's the extroverted because Daniel Kaluuya is much more introverted. He couldn't even prep the safety speech for his job. He had to wait for Kiki Palmer, who was late. But this is where they meet and then on the side, Antlers Holst, the cinematographer that's of said commercial. Then bunch of the Haywoods back in their farm. So again, this is where another quick theme is the horse that they tried to do was freaked out by this silver steer that is used by cinematographers to capture light so that they can have a reference when they do CGI. So that's I learned that from Corridor Crew. So it's very important for them to make sure that when they are doing CGI stuff, it looks the same color, same tone as the ones they're doing in on set. But again, the horse freaked out, so they were fired, and then they resorted to CGI instead. That night, the Haywoods noticed some electricity fluctuating in their area, and then uh their horse some of their horse vanish after running through the middle of the field, and then they
Mm-hmm.
kind of discover that there might be what they think will be an unidentified flying object that kind of like suck these horses up. Daniel Kaluuya was already semi-convinced, but Kiki Palmer, the sister Emerald, was a little bit more needing and a little bit more convincing. So what they did was to go to Fry's to get some electronics, to get some filming gear to be able to capture this. And this is going to be the next big bet. This is the next spectacle that they want to say, unequivocal proof of alien life form on Earth. So with a little bit of deduction in terms of what had happened in some of the nights in their farm, they kind of deduced where the UFO might be hiding, which will be behind a cloud that has never moved for weeks on end.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was cool too, right? So
Also nice.
yeah. So the other well, this is where they get introduced to Angel Torres, the fry salesman, who he himself kind of deduced what they were trying to do with all the electronics about being the hush hush. When he came and installed the cameras that they ordered, it wasn't necessarily to monitor the property itself, but to monitor the surrounding area. So he kind of had an idea and was trying already to squeeze himself in this particular
Now
venture.
intrigued.
Yeah. Then we cut to Jupiter's Claim with his Ricky Jupe Parks theme park. So we were introduced to him because the struggling farm of OJ, he's been selling off their
Of course.
horses to the theme park for some of the cowboy reenactments and rides for the theme park as well. So yet another example of trying to make a buck out of quote unquote exploitation, um certain creatures, certain lives. But this is where we kind of get introduced to Ricky Drew Park's backstory, where he was a child
Child
star. There
actor.
was he was there was an incident with their taping because their TV show was a family that also had like a monkey as a quote unquote adopted brother. So it's kind of like a comedy, but uh, there was an incident where the monkey went awry and killed pretty much most of the cast, left one horribly disfigured and
Horribly,
him
horribly.
him alive. So that was just he was doing this with a very cool private show of his museum slash memorabilia collection of said show in his theme park. So he has a room dedicated to that show, the bloody shoe that was
Mm-hmm.
there, some of the balloons and whatnot. And then we cut back to um, the first attempt, at least, of of the people uh uh or of OJ and M trying to capture the UFO uh, uh, live, but through a series of unfortunate events, a bug on the camera, they weren't able to see it clearly. Um, but they also figured out that whenever the UFO came in, there was some electrical fluctuations. So the current stuff that they have may not work even with redundancies and backups. So the good thing about that is they thought about bringing in another person, the cinematographer that they kind of got to know in the previous commercial, because he was known for capturing wildlife in a difficult situation.
The
Cut
impossible shot.
to the impossible shot, and then cut to a bunch of convincing a bunch of other uh, artistic splices of imagery here and there, but we end up with fully fledged solid plan where they do have a way to draw out said UFO. They figured out that the UFO is feeding on
Yeah, a creature.
on creatures. Like he's the feeding on creatures. At first, you might be led to believe that it was feeding because of like it was abducting for experimental
Hmm.
purposes. But more and more, we realize that the UFO is, in fact, an alien creature feeding. All right,
Yes.
so that's a good, cute twist that we don't really see a lot. But alongside that, um, the crew, OJ, M, Angel, and Antlers had devised a plan to like again use the floaty things in front of car salesmen as signifiers where the
That was a nice
UFO would
shot.
be. They planted some traps or some routes all throughout the farm, so that or the ranch, so that they could have better angles to shoot said UFO. And the MacGuffin, or the real solution of this problem, is uh Antlers is using a hand crank IMAX camera to capture the film, so uh it's not reliant on batteries or electricity. So um again, plan ensues, suspenseful cat and mouse of the alien eating everything. Also, prior to that, eating everything in the theme park.
Hmm.
So they tried to um
Exploited.
Stephen Yoon and Jupiter's claim did not realize, already knew that the alien was there, so they were trying to draw it out with a horse because it seems like it likes
Lucky.
eating horse, right? Uh, but instead, they were able to draw that in, but instead of just getting the horse, the alien ate everything. And then proceeding back to the last scenes where they were trying to trying to capture on footage this particular alien, but while the plan is happening, there was a TMZ reporter, paparazzo, that kind of caught wind of this particular thing and um, also tried to kind of capture images of his own, but he didn't know all the details that no electronics happened. He was using an
Like
electronic mic.
I love that they didn't show his face.
And if you remember, his helmet was just pure silver,
Uh
right?
huh.
Much like the silver orb that was
Yep.
in the very first scene of the movie. So it's like again a little too on the nose, but it's good that you're tying all of these things back. Again, long story short, as said, TMZ reporter got eaten too. Lots of, again, cat and mouse on trying to capture footage of this alien. Towards the end, we get to see clearly how this alien looks, which I love the design. Very, very, very non-traditional alien looking. Like it looks like a combination of a jellyfish and a squid and an octopus, right? So it's like
And a
it's
kite.
in a kite. That's good call, because the posters was of a string of kite in the clouds. And in the end, using Jean Jacket as his ride, OJ as the bait, knowing what he knows about creatures themselves and how to draw them in, how to hide from them, etc., etc., treating the alien with as a like a horse, like a wild creature, and with respect. He was able to kind of not get eaten. uh and then they were able to, at least we don't know if they were able to catch on footage, but they, for the most part, they should have. um and the other portion of this too is, because this is the impossible shot by Antler Holst. He had like an Alamo moment where he did this last time to get the absolute best shot of
Getting sucked
him
in.
sucked in. So that was part of the movie as well. The movie ends with, just, symbolically, he was able to draw, or I mean, OJ was able to draw the UFO to Jupiter's claim as
Cheeky.
M was also being hunted, was drawn into Jupiter's claim. He realized that everybody's killed there, but he uses a wishing well camera that shoots photos up towards the well, up towards the sky where people are peering down. But instead, I was able to use this camera to take a photo of the UFO all the way up in the sky. She eventually gets this UFO down by releasing a giant Jupiter's claim balloon, and then the alien, thinking that it is a being, sucked it in himself, and the balloon exploded, right? And then kind of destroying the alien in the process. And like a cute little end cap of us thinking that OJ was killed or sucked when he was trying to use himself as bait to save everybody else, but he was able to survive
Survive.
uh, on a horse with his orange hoodie.
From the
And
Scorpion
yeah,
King.
from the Scorp, oh, lovely. But also in the end, the orange is kind of like, it's for safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing. So that was so good. And that is Nope by Jordan Peele. Thoughts, reactions?
Yeah,
Um,
I just wanted more in the ending. Like, I wanted to know if they were able to cash in.
yeah,
You know, I just want
yeah.
because it's not, if they were white, I would assume they did cash in. But they're, with their story of the first uh cinematic thing captured, and nobody knows who the black jockey was.
Mhm.
I was thinking that was how they were gonna close it. Like, it was gonna be either Holtz, the camera
Holtz, yeah.
guy,
Mhm.
or somebody else who'll get the claim to fame, and nobody will remember they did it. So that's why I wanted just a little bit more, like, a couple more minutes, just to see if they did succeed. I mean, they did survive, so there's that. But with
That
I guess I'm connecting it to race again. Well, they did put that story in there also, so I just wanted to see if they were able to cash in.
that was exactly what I mentioned to the person that I was seeing when we were watching this. You and I are both like, I really wanted to see whether I wanted to see the footage that they took.
Mm-hmm.
One,
That
because
too.
we only
Yeah.
saw photos, and I wanted to see how like the public will react. But I guess that is the point of the entire movie. Is like, it's about, we're now living in a life of exploitation and spectacle, right? Like I caught myself like, oh, that's right. We are them. We want to see what had happened. So that was kind of the thing that kind of uh, uh drew me in, about like, oh, the message was right. Like we wanted to see the results. We aren't satisfied with everything, that we always want more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but same. I really at least I really wanted to see how they were going to tell the people, because but I understand why they didn't, because the director Jordan, he needed to make a decision whether people would believe them or not, or more likely, he would have needed to show that some people would have believed him, some people would be skeptical forever, right? And I think that would muddle the theme of the story. I still think that it would have been nice to have like a montage at
Yeah.
the end, right? But yeah, that is true. Again, that when watching it,
I do love
like
the
I also
title. I love how they used it in the film. It was like exactly what I would say at that right moment. Nope. Like when he was in the prank on him in the horse, and then there was that he thought it was a creature, and he was trying to picture it, and then another one came in and said nope. And she backed out like,
I love when Jordan Peele was being interviewed about the movie and they were talking about so like why nope. And then it was super clear, like if you're a black person and you're watching a horror movie, and then one of your white friends said, "Go to this, let's go to the bar and investigate it." What's the first thing a normal black person would say? Nope, and go right away. So I was like, "Fuck, that is so true." And I've been seeing that meme of Daniel Kaluuya and Kiki Palmer doing the.
yeah.
I love that scene. Like that's like, oh man, you're actually real brothers and sisters. So, um, but yeah, like looking back, tried to watch this again on demand this week. I was popping in and back just to get refreshed, and yeah, the second third time that you watch it, it is kind of like the every beat is about a creature be trying to be tamed and then trying to be exploited. Oh, not exploited, but sometimes used, or just tamed. Just because even her sister, right? She was trying to be tamed, right? Yeah, she
And
was.
black people.
Yeah, yeah. So race as well.
Yeah.
Even like in both ways, both like Ricky G Park, like there was scenes there where her wife was kind of like a little bit more domineering uh on her, like she was the one that's writing the script controlling what Ricky Park would be saying in those shows, right? So every single one is about that, and there's every single one has triggers on when these wild creatures, both animal and human, um, becomes triggered. Like
Mm.
uh, Jean Jacket in the first scene was that silver orb. Kiki Palmer was about her horse being
No, no.
trained
I
or
think the
so.
horse is lucky. Jean Jacket is what they call the creature.
Oh, okay. Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky was the horse, and then they called it Jean Jacket, the creature.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kiki's horse when she was a kid, that was kind of like her breaking point why she like never thought that she was going to be part of the business, or
Mm-hmm.
was never going to be her taking over, was always going to be OJ. Um like yeah, even the cinematographer, like he had his breaking point, like he's doing these dumb commercials, but he really in the end just wanted to film majestic creatures in their own state. So all of the themes are kind of like for me clearly laid off, and for me easy to understand if you're looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, if you just want something that is a little bit of suspense, I kind of glossed over the synopsis, how the different plans that they had in order to capture this, and how the animal fought back,
Yeah.
like when the creature sucked everything in Jupiter's claim, it showered blood all over the OJ's house, which is kind of dope. And you're right, like if you're and they were hidden smartly. Usually in other movies they fucking fly out or run out and try to save somebody. No, people who are inside the house stayed inside the house. People who are in the van stayed in the van.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's
That
simple.
was good.
I like very clear ways of doing that. So yeah, it's one of those movies that maybe I'm not gonna rush to watch it, but if it's there and it's a movie that I love discussing, like me and the person that I saw this with, we quite discussed this quite heavily after, like what we liked about, what we didn't
Mm-hmm.
like about it. But yeah, it's there are stuff to discuss. So final thoughts on your rating, Chubax? Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, well-made movie. Just some gripes, but not a lot. So I'll give it a 8.
Mm,
Pretty good.
yeah, same with me. I'm an 8. maybe a soft 8 too. Again, it's super fun, super entertaining. You learn a lot. It's a great movie. Are there better movies out there? Of course, more entertaining, more thrilling. But again, this is a very, very solid movie with a lot of themes that was
Different
well shot.
style.
Very different style. I love the fact that it's a different take on alien and UFOs. We always look at them as ships, but we never look at them as living creatures. So that was a cute take that I really enjoyed. So all
And yeah, no
right, that
shooting, no guns, no like
oh yeah, I didn't
for an
realize that.
alien, right? Right. No,
I did not realize that
there's
there
no
are no
fighting in a sense.
uh
Still
there
bloody
was a
though.
cool prank in the end where the kids pretended to be aliens in the farm. I freaked out in that particular
That
part.
was cool. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah. All right. So that is our rating for the movie Nope. Watch us, let us know what you think in the comments or in our socials. Next week we are planning to watch and discuss the action adventure Bullet Train starring
Bullet
Sandra
train.
Bullock and Brad Pitt. So I'm
Have you
excited
seen
for it.
it?
I have not seen it. I've heard very good review. Well, a good description of it that it's a funny sit down, open your eyes kind of action flick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in it. I need all of those.
Yeah, me too.
Um, all right. With that, again, don't forget like and subscribe our channel. On your browser, type in youtube.com/plus63hp. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when any of our videos drop. We drop a video almost every day of the week. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. At plus63hp is our handle. Interact with us in all of our socials. And if you want to just have us in the background while you're working, doing your chores, cleaning, eating, relaxing, walking around, open your podcasting app of choice, search plus63hp, and we should be there. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.